At this time, I'd like to take a moment to thank all the families and friends of the fallen officers who have joined us here today. I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank all of the county and state government officials, community leaders, current officers and retirees for joining us to pay respects to those who have sacrificed so much for the citizens of Newcastle County. At this time, I'd like to call upon Master Corporal Michael Zielinski of Lodge 5, Fraternal Order Police President, for a few remarks.
Good morning to all of our survivors, elected officials, police staff, retirees, members of the public, and my brothers and sisters in law enforcement. I welcome you to the Paul J. Sweeney Public Safety Building as we honor those Newcastle County police officers that died in the line of duty and while actively serving the citizens of Newcastle County. As the FOP President, I am truly humbled and honored that I have been afforded the privilege of addressing all of you on such a solemn occasion. The statistics will tell you on average, one law enforcement officer is killed in the line of duty somewhere in the United States every 58 hours. Since the first known line of duty death in the late 1700s, more than 20,000 U.S. law enforcement officers have made the ultimate sacrifice. They have given their life in service to protection to the citizens they were sworn to serve. In 2017, a total of 135 law enforcement officers lost their lives in the line of duty. Just 4 short months into 2018, a total of 48 law enforcement officers have lost their lives in the line of duty. As we strive to provide the most advanced training, equipment, and safety products, we are being outpaced by the senseless acts of violence against the law enforcement profession. To pay tribute to the law enforcement officers who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our country and to voice our appreciation for all those who currently serve on the front lines of the battle against crime, the United States Congress has authorized and requested the President of the United States to designate May 15th of each year as Peace Officers Memorial Day and the week in which it falls as Police Week. And the public law has requested that the flag be flown at half-staff on Peace Officers Memorial Day at every federal, state, and local government building. I can't think of another profession in this country that has been bestowed such an honor. The statistics will tell you that crime rates are down, and I urge you to be cautious of those statistics. There's no disputing that the streets we patrol are becoming more dangerous and the criminals themselves more violent. The risks are all around us, and we cannot escape them. And as if the streets aren't dangerous enough, our profession now faces new threats. Unwarranted attacks from the media, budget cuts, reduced staffing, increased healthcare costs, pension reforms, and so on. All these things I mentioned affect our profession and the citizens who depend on us for service. We are different, and we should be treated different. Police officers are unique and a special breed of human beings. It takes a special person to do this job and a special family to support them along the way. Our families truly take the brunt of what this profession has to offer. The enormous sacrifices you make to allow us to be in a profession we love so much and only a few will ever truly understand. To all of our families and law enforcement supporters here today, thank you. It's your support and love that keeps us going each and every day. As we move forward today, let us pledge to keep all of our fallen officers in our hearts and live our own lives with the same courage, commitment, and selflessness with each they live theirs. This Memorial Day is for all officers, all who have died in the line of duty, of disease, injury, or simple job stress. Let us be grateful for their many sacrifices and now celebrate their lives with pride and affection. As we listen to the roll call of names this afternoon, let us pray for the entire Thin Blue Line that serves and protects our community. As I conclude, I'll direct my comments to my brothers and sisters. We must stand together in solidarity. Remember the honor, commitment, and integrity it takes to wear this uniform and badge. As your FOP president, my duties and responsibilities are different now. Rely on your knowledge, your training, and your fellow officers. and I cannot be out there on the streets with you for all the shifts and calls today. But what I can tell you is this: do your best to protect each other from the threats on the street, and I will do my best to protect you from the threats off the street. It's my pleasure to introduce the Chief of Police of Newcastle County Police, Colonel Vaughn M. Bond.
Good morning, and thank you to the families, the Newcastle County Police Command staff, Newcastle County police officers, Newcastle County Police retirees that are present, the numerous police agencies throughout the county that are here today, our paramedics, our communication staff. Thank you all for the public. Thank you all for being here for today's memorial service as we celebrate our fallen brothers of the Newcastle County Police Department. Today, we take the time to recognize the sacrifice that our brothers have made while serving the citizens of Newcastle County. It is often referred to as the ultimate sacrifice because there is nothing greater that you can give than your life to save someone else's. Since 2015, the law enforcement profession in the United States has lost 497 officers. Not every one of those officers were killed by a felonious act. We have lost several officers due to health-related issues brought on by the stress associated with our profession. Many more were lost in vehicle accidents as they responded to calls for service. The pains associated with those losses are equivalent to the pains associated with the officers who were ambushed and murdered while carrying out their duties. So today, we stop and we say thank you to those officers. And I'll be honest with you, I wish there was a better phrase to show my appreciation to the men and women who gave their lives in the line of duty. Thank you means to show appreciation for an act of another person. And in most cases, it's adequate. But it seems inadequate when expressing the appreciation to someone who gave their life for another person. It takes a special person to say, I want to serve others, that I am willing to lay my life on the line to better my community. I don't believe that police officers are better than anyone else. But I do believe that those who serve in the military and law enforcement are special. There's no other profession where you have to wear a bulletproof vest and walk into the face of danger every time you report to work. In some cases, you could be home and called upon by a neighbor to assist with a domestic situation, and it can cost you your life, as was the case of the young officer in Maryland earlier this year. The Newcastle County police officers we are recognizing today were keenly aware of the dangers, yet they carried on. All of us present today and those responding to the 911 calls as I speak are also aware of the dangers. But because they are special, they have set aside their fears and they march toward danger that others walk away from. Agencies across this country are struggling to find officers, and the experts will point to a variety of reasons why that is the case. And I'm not an expert in this by no stretch of the imagination, but I can tell you in very simple terms. There aren't many people willing to face the dangers and the criticism that is levied upon police officers today. Those who can are special, and unfortunately, their number seems to be dwindling. So today, as we celebrate and remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice, I also want to take a moment to speak with the families. And I want to thank them. The families that are here today, for our officers who have family that aren't here today. It takes courage to be a police officer. They say that all the time. But I believe it also takes a lot of courage to be a family member of a police officer. We don't talk about it much, but family members also live with the fear of the unknown each time their loved one walks out their door to report for duty. Many of our family members will hide their feelings and put up a strong front. But inside, they are deeply concerned about the unknown. This fear and concern doesn't subside. It doesn't subside. In fact, it seems to increase because the violent acts against police officers are becoming all too frequent. Our brothers and sisters in law enforcement are no longer being killed while in the performance of their duties. They are ambushed and being killed while eating lunch at a fast food restaurant in Trenton, Florida. They're being ambushed and killed while walking up to a house to answer a 911 call. They're being ambushed and killed while sitting in a command vehicle in New York City. You see, these acts, to many, they hear about it and they're concerned, they're outraged. But for our families, they can't move on. Our families deal with this as a possibility every time they hear this situation. Last year, as the word spread that an officer was shot and seriously injured at the Wawa on Route 40, word came out that it was a Delaware State trooper. I can guarantee you that the families of each and every single trooper that day, hearts sunk. And whatever they were doing at that particular time, they stopped because they were afraid that their worst fear will become a reality. This is what our families deal with each and every day. That's why I think it's important to recognize them and to recognize the families that are seated here today. You know, I heard once someone say that they weren't worried about their officers because their officers were the best trained and the best equipped. And I truly believe that Newcastle County Police is the best trained and the best equipped. But I would be lying to you if I said I didn't worry about it. I would be lying to you if I didn't say that each and every day, several times a day, I pray that there's no harm that falls on any officers. I pray that there's no harm that falls on any Newcastle County police officers. So today, we remember the sacrifices of our brothers of Newcastle County. Let us continue to make them proud. We must continue to go out and face the danger while bettering the lives of those we swore to protect and serve. May God continue to keep you and bless you. Thank you. And at this time, I would like to welcome the County Executive, Matt Meyer, to the podium. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you to Chief Bond, the command staff other elected officials here in attendance and their representatives. The representatives from other police agencies, thank you for joining us today. The fine women and men of the county police, along with the families of loved ones, leaders in our community who set an example for us, for all of us, as we move forward. Thank you also to whoever scheduled it today on one of the 2 days of spring we're getting this year, between our Monday winter and our Thursday summer. I'm here today, as many of you, I presume, with a heavy heart. It is not a happy day. It's a sad day. When we pause to take back into our hearts the memories of those who paid the ultimate sacrifice for all of us to be here today. You know, it's crazy, but it's true that in a society, a free society like ours, where we don't even think every day about the freedoms, there are some places where to put on a uniform, you are told at the age of 18, you put on a uniform. It's a requirement of citizenship. But here we don't do that. We ask for women and men to raise their hands, to volunteer, in fact, to send in an application to serve. And I just want to note, those of you that have volunteered to serve who are among us, and those who are not among us, without all of you, we would not have that freedom that we enjoy. We would not have that security and safety we have in every neighborhood of this county, this state, and this country. But as I come here with sadness, it's also, as my mom likes to say, tinged with a little joy and a little happiness. Because we're not just honoring the memory of those that passed, but we're honoring their service. The love which with they plunged their hearts and their minds into this police agency, into the service of the Newcastle County Police and the service of the people of this county. And I don't know everything about all the individuals we're honoring today, but I do know each of them came to work every day with a heart of service and a joy for life, from which we should all pause and learn from. Things that I wish every single resident of this county took a moment to learn, to understand not just the way these individuals passed, but the way they lived their lives. We can all learn from that level of service. And so today, as we honor their lives, as we honor their ultimate sacrifice, and we do so while at this very moment, there are literally over 1,000 young men and women in uniform across this state serving us, keeping us safe right now. As we do that, I want every officer here to know that not only are the people you see in front of you praying for you every day, but so many residents of this county, this state, and this country are doing the same. I'm doing town halls across this county to discuss our budget. And just last week, I was at a town hall, and while everyone's in the weeds of the budget, a young man came up to me after the town hall, and all he said is, "I am praying for your men and women in uniform every single day." That's all he said. I said, "Thank you," and he walked away. And it happens every few months when I go to churches, synagogues, mosques, and when I'm just in public forums. You might read in the newspaper that people don't like this or that about the men in blue or in brown. But I want you to know pretty much everyone in this county recognizes what you do, appreciate it, and an incredibly large number are praying for you every single day. So we honor your service. We take a moment to honor the memory of those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. And we carry the joy and the service with which they led their lives into our leadership every day of the residents of this county. Thank you.
Thank you, Executive Meyer. If I could have Colonel Bond, President Zelensky, please come forward for the presentation of the wreaths. I'd now like to call upon retired Corporal Frank Cook, the Lodge 5 chaplain, for the reading of the names of the fallen officers.
Good morning, everyone. Our fallen friends, never forgotten and always with us. Corporal Paul J. Sweeney. Lieutenant Joseph L. Zerba. Corporal Ralph Doris. Corporal Charles Hickett. Sergeant William Honey. Corporal Alfred Scarpello. Corporal Gary Slayton. Corporal William Stell. Corporal Robert Zakcheski. When a police officer is killed, it's not an agency that loses an officer, it's the entire nation. Thank you.
Could everyone please stand for the retiring of the colors? We'd like to thank everyone for coming this morning. This concludes the ceremony. Thank you.